Alright, you know what? I think it's time that we pick up right now. I just left you a few minutes ago, but I would like to talk about my second topic I had in mind for today. And that is, inspired by many YouTube videos I lately seen about people doing cold turkey detoxes at home without any medical supervision by themselves. Half of them laughing it out like it's a joke. But these days, especially with stuff like fentanyl and carfentanil out there and many other dangerous drugs, it is no longer so funny, and it is no longer recommended at all to do cold turkey detoxes at home, unmedically supervised. And I suggest the same. As the professionals now do, I agree with them. Yet, before we start, there is a way to avoid going on methadone programs or Suboxone programs, which take months and years out of your life to complete. One quick one I'll tell you is about 20 years ago when I first went for help, the doctor offered us two ways. One would only take a week or two and would consist of just several medications in pill forms, and the other one, of course, was committing for at least 6 months to methadone, which never is 6 months, never. It always takes a lot longer to taper off that. So I have actually tried at first, and it didn't work. But basically they prescribe you Valium so you can sleep. They prescribe you Nobuprofen, which is over-the-counter ibuprofen product, which is stronger than the usual ones for your bones and muscle aches, and Clonidine for your high blood pressure, because Clonidine relaxes the blood vessels, allowing the blood to flow freely. Sort of like sticking an acupuncture needle in a specific point, releasing the chi and letting it flow freely with the blood. Now, Dr. Gabor Mate and many other specialists and doctors and social workers are joining him in raising the awareness of how you can actually nowadays skip that whole methadone program or Suboxone program process by simply going with them and attending an ibogaine ceremony. Ibogaine is a plant from South Africa, specifically from the Biwiti tribe, which is very much like ayahuasca and the DMT, which is found in nature all over. Except it's a lot deeper and stronger experience, there is the 24 to 48 hours initial throwing up, and then you enter this multi-dimensional world that is very psychedelic-like and kaleidoscope-like, where these higher spirits and beings share certain knowledge that is profound and beyond our regular daily knowledge and wisdom, and they also help you face yourself face to face with the harm you are inflicting on yourself and others. They say, come and do this ceremony, then come and do an ayahuasca ceremony with us straight after that, and we guarantee you pretty much that we will be able to rewire your brain into a non-addictive person anymore, a person who does not um, attach themselves to any specific pleasant or unpleasant feelings, nor avert from any unpleasant feelings. We learn to be equanimous, just like Vipassana meditation is designed for. It's designed for the mind to become equanimous to everything. And so what they are suggesting is has been tried out by many people in the past, and actually is now in use and is changing a lot of people's lives. And they literally go into these ceremonies, experience no withdrawal symptoms at all, and are past their troubles and battles within just a couple of weeks, let's say, instead of spending months and years on it by taking methadone or Suboxone. So let me tell you now a little bit about cold turkey detoxes I have done by myself, as sometimes you are forced into things like that. For example, once I had found myself suddenly being addicted, and for about half a year or more, or a year or so, I was shooting up my vein between 400 and 500 milligrams of morphine sulfate, all hiding in the garage and doing that. And there came a point where there was no time for entering a program or tapering down slowly. We had to rush me to my friend's place. Before that, we stopped at the family doctor with a couple very responsible and known in the community people for being solid and trustworthy. We went into the family doctor and told him, this is what we will need, this is what we will be doing. So it wasn't fully, unsupervised by a medical doctor, because my family doctor was aware of what I was doing, with whom, and which address on Denman Island. So in case of any emergency, he would be there very quickly, within 10 minutes or so. So we basically asked for Valium, so that they could knock me out and put me to sleep when necessary. For Novoprofen, which is that over-counter ibuprofen that helps a lot with bone and muscle aches. And the Valium also, or clonazepam, helps with spasms and convulsions and seizures we tend to go through while detoxing at home. And then clonidine to lower that blood pressure, because your blood pressure will be going up the roof as your body will be going through the shock, and slowly over 7 or 8 days or so ridding itself of the toxins. It is known that it takes about 7 days to detox from opiates, to rid them out of your body, if you do it in a medical detox or at home in a cold turkey fashion. I'll tell you of one very interesting way I've done it, with the help of my great friend, mentor, and an acupuncture doctor, my friend Willow, who I basically was not prepared for that detox. That was very difficult. I was coming off all types of pharmaceutical, opiates and heroin and all that at the same time, and again, no time to taper. So I ended up in my bed cold turkeying from day 1 to day 7 and 8, going through complete hell, which starts usually on day 2. But my dear friend and Dr. Willow would come twice a day. I remember it was winter, slippery, dangerous driving conditions, yet he would cross the island just to come see me and apply not only nada acupuncture, which is the ear acupuncture, but also put a few needles in my forehead, in my hands, in my legs and feet. And that was the only times, let me tell you, when my body would lay still. I would get real rest and I wouldn't convulse. And also his presence and his voice was very, very effective on me. It had a tremendously peaceful vibe to it. And we continued so every day until day 7. I finally made it out, started drinking a bit of tea, juice, eating a bit of fruit, and then went back into acupuncture, which we continued for at least a couple of years, almost on daily basis. And it supported my my sobriety, and it helped me with my cravings, and it stabilized me, That was great. That was beautiful. I hear that now nada acupuncture is used widely across all of Canada nation in every detox center, which is good to know. Another type we've done was I also found myself in a really bad position. That was the time I was shooting about 400 or 500 milligrams of morphine sulfate a day, and there was no time for tapering. So we went to the doctor, got the prescriptions for the meds we need, filled in the prescriptions. A friend offered a place where I could do it all. Very qualified and community trusted people have joined the little group that took care of me for a few days and switched shifts. And in that whole process, I was in my friend's home, still a phone call away from the doctor, but it was a cold turkey home detox. And again, with Valium, Clonidine, and Novoprofen, those 3 medications. And of course, wise friends who knew when they had to force feed me and when they had to keep me awake, or when to keep me comfort at nights when I suffered the most and convulsed. For some reason, during detox, you could be okay somewhat during the day, but as soon as you try to rest and sleep, the body starts a battle you cannot handle, and you cannot sleep. It starts convulsing. You get restless leg syndrome, which means your legs keep shaking and you cannot stop it, one or the other. Convulsions, cold sweats, you scream out of nowhere. It's terrible, but you have to go through it. In a way, I'm a believer that people should at least once try this, because it is important to feel and remember the pain. Don't always take the easy way out, because you might never learn for good the pain and the misery you had went through. And for a lot of people, that's enough to learn for life. Unfortunately, not for most, but for a lot of people, that's enough. I've watched videos where people who've detoxed off, are the happiest people right now, thanking God and being grateful, and because they made it out. They're not those dwellers, the hungry ghosts who will continue on and drag this on like I have for 23, 24 years now. But I'm a warrior, I'm a fighter, Back in the day when I was young, yes, there was unsupervised detoxes that I've went through, just lying in bed, going through the worst of the worst. sometimes with just the help of my dear mother, which seemed enough, and a little bit of cannabis, and those teas and the food that my mother would force me to eat, and those crazy nights, and you have to get rid of it, you know. I have learned, for example, now through my acupuncture doctor, for example, if you're doing anything like that, um, if you want to get rid of those toxins faster and get through this ordeal faster, there is herbal Chinese teas, mixtures, for example, that you can drink every day, several times a day, and you will get rid of toxins through your urine that way. There is also vitamin B3 and B6. If you take 1,000 milligrams of vitamin B3, you'll suddenly turn red like a beet. But do not worry, that is just a niacin flash. Welcome to the niacin flash. But let me tell you something. It is a great way to get rid of toxin through your skin pores. That's why it's also great to sweat as much as you can to get rid of it through your skin pores, through your sweat, you know. There is many good methods, you know. Just remember to be wise and do not laugh and make videos about detoxing at home for the second or third time and laughing it up and taking Xanaxes or Modium or this and that from friends, not even recommended by doctors or prescribed. Do not take these risks and do not take these things lightly, because they are not. You could suffer a seizure, a stroke, a heart attack, or any other organ failure while your body is going literally through a major shock when you quit, especially if you haven't tapered down. Now you might be laughing and you might have gotten through one or two of them, but please mark my words, it is not funny and it is not recommended to do so, you know. The last time I have detoxed, I have also done an outpatient sort of detox at home with a group of friends called Turkey. Well, it wasn't called Turkey. Simply because I was on a 30-day waiting list to enter a methadone treatment program, and in order to get by for that month, one of my very best friends put a group together of about 10 people or so, maybe more, who would watch over me and visit me in the mornings, midday, and nights, sometimes spend the night, and they would bring me a handful of poppy heads and 1 or 2 milligrams of Ativan for the day. And at home I would make my own poppy tea, opium tea, which would basically rid me of any withdrawal symptoms. It wouldn't get me high, but it would basically put me in a state where I had no withdrawal symptoms. And maybe, you know, I was high to some extent, but it's not something you feel. Just like I used to do cold water extracts and extract codeine from Tylenol 3s or other pills with codeine in them, but there is a cold water extraction way which is very simple at home to do, where you can extract and make your own liquid codeine at home. And I've detoxed like that before. I drank it for like 7 days, 10 days every day. You feel no withdrawal symptoms whatsoever, and you can quit. After 10 days or so, you can quit drinking the codeine tea. There is no withdrawal symptoms, and you're done. That's another way. But you have to be experienced. You have to be supervised at least by friends. You have to let people know what you're doing, and everything has to be tested and experienced. You know, just like doctors, they don't prescribe all these things without first getting knowledge and education. It's it's the same way with detoxing. You must be educated. um, so basically I did that for a month. The last time, drank the opium tea, had the Ativan every day until they accepted me at the methadone clinic, where I've been for the last 4 years, being negative for illicit drugs or any drugs except the ones I'm prescribed. I've even managed to quit smoking. I am still on the patch, but I am refusing to just basically be a smoker. And so there is many ways of detoxing cold turkey at home, but please remember that these days, with stuff like fentanyl and other stuff out there, it is not advice, it is not smart, it is not wise, it is not the quick and easy way to do things. You are risking your life by doing that, literally. Believe me, please. So I hope you have learned a thing or two, and that you will taper off wisely, that you will detox wisely, that you will take what I said into consideration, and don't forget to comment and ask questions if there is anything unclear. I'm here, and I will always be. I'm just waiting to get stronger so I can be for you guys more and more and more. Just like I want to return to the Unbroken Chain group meetings so I can reunite with them and reassure them that I am with them 100%. Until then, harm reduction, harm prevention, psychedelic experiences related to it. Look into it all. Why not? After all, we have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. I love you.